So last 2 weeks we have been understanding what we want. We all want happiness, peace, love, truth and wisdom. But we seek them in the wrong places. So we have to become aware what are those wrong places. My honey is in not a wrong place for peace but for searching peace and happiness in honey, the honey becomes a wrong place. It does not mean my honey is wrong. So we have to discern, we have to be very, very understanding. We might think that the happiness can be found in any of these possessions, relations, or experiences, but these things are ultimately fleeting. So this is a very prime understanding, fundamental of the Eastern wisdom, that real self is of the nature of peace and happiness, source of love and the wisdom. So there are normally, we say there are 6 characteristics of the real self. First, the real self is eternal. What is eternal? It is not subjected by the time. What it means? It was present, it is present, it will remain present. Then what is the truth? It is the real self is the absolute truth. What does it mean by the absolute truth? It is not an object and it bypasses the time. It is the timeless continuum. Oh, I am the timeless? Yes. But I was born, so for example, in 1950, 1st of January. No, your body is born. You are not born. We'll understand it slowly. We'll go deeper into it. But just for the sake. Now you said, 1st of January 1950 is my date of birth. So before that you were not existing. No, I was present in the womb of the mother. Oh, so you were present. So why you say that your date of birth is that? These are the wrong notions. We have to get rid of it. No, just to claim that I am sweet 16 all the time, you can say that I am 20 years old. That's a different thing. But to inquire into the truth, me and John have no chance to say we are sweet 16. It's the domain of all the women. You see that? So first thing, the real self, we have to start somewhere. It's not a question of belief. Oh, let me start from there, and then we will step by step we will inquire. Oh, I am the real self. I am of the nature of the peace and happiness. That is how the journey has to take place. So then what happens, but I don't experience that I'm all pervading and I'm eternal and I'm the truth, then what should we do? So the master says this mind is veiling. We discovered that. We already discussed that. The real self is a gift given to all of us by the existence, veiled by the 3 layers. For outermost layer, impurity. Second layer, projections. Third layer, ignorance. So we have to get rid of these 3 factors completely in order to recognize and realize that we are the real self. So it's very easy, if someone sends you a gift, we unwrap the first layer, second layer, third layer, but here we have to follow the process. We have to follow these principles, how to uncover these 3 layers of impurity, projection and ignorance. That is, what is the result? You will gradually reduce suffering and the stress from your life. Now your honey will not be responsible for your stress and suffering at all. At the same time, you will continue to move with the peace and happiness and the joy. You are not affected, you are not dictated. That is the journey of the Eastern wisdom. You have a clarity about the nature of the real self, but it demands a regular practice. Regular practice, regular contemplation and reflection. It is not possible that, I just leave it, it's a part-time job. No. Wherever I go, I live into that state of awareness. Then only it is possible. One young guy, many people come into these sessions. So there is another group session. This guy is attending the session for the last 2 years. A guy means any gender, so yeah, that is what we also use in American, I started learning the American English. So I'm not 2 years, and he was posing that he is evolving so fast. So to pose that you are evolving fast or you are really evolving they are two different things. And the last month he said, sir, I said, what you do every day? So he started telling me all about his daily routine and chores in the evening when I'm relatively free, sitting in my room. I spend 1 hour in dating app. On one side, he said that he is totally absorbed in meditation, but now he finds the time to spend time in dating app. Why you are spending? And then he asked me that, sir, do you know dating app? What a great guy. I didn't say anything. I said, no, I don't know. But I am very thankful to you that you told me you have a time to spend in a dating app. That is a projected happiness. I am projecting my happiness. I am still searching happiness outside. On the other hand, I say that I am progressing into meditation. How it is possible? How both the things are possible? It is not possible. So what I wanted to say by this example, this projection may enter into our mind by so many sources, by so many thoughts, and we rationalize it and we miss the point. We have to be very clear about it. We have to constantly contemplate and reflect. We will also understand that what action in our life we should be doing and what action we should not. And if at all actions we are doing, what should be our mental attitude? What should be our level of awareness? But all these challenges comes as threefold. Impurities in the mind. We will talk in detail about it as we continue to follow the session, the projection, and third is the ignorance is the wrong notion. I have a wrong notion, wrong ideas about mistaken identity. We have to recognize these impurities of the mind. Restlessness. I am fully busy. That is why I am not attending your session. So you have time to attend the session where you are busy, and I can tell you, you are busy in the world only projecting happiness there. There is no other reason. Find out. You have to contemplate and reflect. Restless mind is also the cause of the impurities, hesitation, duality and a conflict, strong likes and dislikes. We will talk about it. So what is very important to understand, that we have to reflect on the fleeting nature of the pleasure in the world. From today I will not talk to you, honey, because you are an object of a fleeting pleasure. That is a wrong approach. But when you express peace and happiness in your relationship, that is where you are removing the projection. It's a very subtle approach. We are going to talk about it. I'm just giving you an idea. It's a very wrong. So we have to understand what is wrong and the right at a subtler level. I have to understand how my mind imagines the pleasure in others. I have to get rid of that imagination from my mind by contemplation and reflection, and then you do the practice and the mind is ready for the self-inquiry to find the real self. I have to observe myself rather than others. Look at honey, one guy from somewhere, I should keep the privacy, But one thing I tell you, that in America we say, oh, it's a privacy issue, don't talk about this. But you'll be surprised that everyone knows about others. And still we say, no, I don't want to talk about it. It's a privacy issue. Anyhow, I'm talking about it. Look at my honey, he doesn't do any practice, and I'm progressing. You will fail. That is a part of the ignorance. We'll understand those understand. Why it is a part of the ignorance? Because everyone has the real self. Real self is one common factor present in every being. How can I blame anyone? Not practicing, not attending the session is a different thing, but so that is why our master says that we should gain the right knowledge about the real self. We have to remove the impurities. And how we have to remove the impurities and projections? By self-inquiry. How the self-inquiry works? Self-inquiry works with the certain principles of the Eastern wisdom. No, I have understood, I have heard you, and still it is not happening. No. Listening and learning from a teacher live is the first step, is a preparation towards that journey. Simple way. And repeat listening and learning by yourself, because you are listening to, for example, the audio. So you are alone. That is the meaning that you are repeat listening in a solitude followed by the practice will definitely help you. How many times, I'm busy, I don't have time to repeat it. So don't do it. Don't do it. It's a part. So when we don't do it and then we blame and complain, nothing is happening. Nothing will happen. So what is happening when you do the repeat listening and learning, and you repeat the practice every day, your mind begins settling in the journey of the Eastern wisdom. You will remember these principles, and that is going to remove the impurities and projection. And oh, what a beautiful experience I have in your session. And then rest of 6 days I'm full of stress. How it will work? But gradually you continue to listen and learn, and ultimately the mind then begins to think, oh, let me do it. Let me do it. So the last 3 weeks, I think, so I'm just going by the text. The real self, we say, is of the nature of peace, happiness, love, truth, and wisdom. No substitute, no opposites. but I am not able to perceive it, I am not able to recognize and experience it. Why? Because of the three factors. I am not able to see what gift you have sent me. Did you send me any gift? It's a burden, it's already a burden in you. What is that? Three layers: ignorance, impurities, and the projection. It is uncovered, it is wrapped, not uncovered. That is why I am not able to see. So now you see. Now pay attention. Ignorance has to be removed by the knowledge. Knowledge comes to us as a seeker by listening and learning from a teacher, and then the repeat listening. Projection can be removed by certain mantras practices. We are going to add it. And the impurities can be removed by doing the karma yoga. So it's in every layer we have a certain practices. We will go through that. We are just understanding the basic principle. Now I've been doing the meditation without understanding the principle, so you will continue to live in ignorance. You don't have a right perspective that I have this experience, what it means. It will not work. So all the three are required. Knowledge to remove the ignorance. Projections, to get rid of those projections by, we say it, upasana, but I am using the word mantra for the sake of understanding. And the impurities can be removed by the karma yoga. We will also understand what is this karma yoga. If we don't practice it, it will never happen. Real self and the false self. So it means, how I am living nowadays with the false self, with the false identity, with the wrong notion. How to recognize what is false? It is constantly changing. The false I is constantly changing. How many times in a day? Maybe 1,000 times, maybe 1,000,000 times at the subconscious level, at the habitual level. What do you mean by it? I have never changed. In the morning you say I am upset. In the evening, in the afternoon you say I am happy. In the evening you say I am stressed. Who is this I? This is the false I. False I is constantly changing. Real I does not change. Well, just one example. Today you are happy with the honey and tomorrow you are not. False I. I can give you hundreds of examples. So what do you mean? If honey does something nasty, I should not be unhappy. That too is the false I. So you mean to say I should not say anything. That is also a false I. If something happens to the women, they talk of the women liberation. And if something happens to the men, they have also many excuses. All these excuses comes from the false I. It is constantly changing. I have to understand this. I am identified with this false I. Unless I get rid of it, then nothing is going to happen. So we have to set a time regularly without doing anything. It is much more important than going to a washroom. It is much more important than the sleep. Why? Then you become a seeker. Seeker never fails if you are a seeker. It is but very obvious that I should have a driving license to drive the car, and in order to get the driving license I have to pass the written examination. I must have the knowledge and the principles on which I have to treat the path, and I should have a skill set to drive the car. There are two parts. Do you agree with me? There is no choice. It is absolute truth. So you have to understand that. So the same thing, I have to have a skill set of driving my mind, my body, my social life, my personal life, and also I should have a right knowledge whether I'm following the right path or not. And then I have to contemplate over it again and again. The way we do it in driving. I stumbled upon in New Jersey when I came to US, and we have a left-hand driving. So at 3 occasions, I started the left-hand driving instead of a right-hand driving. Your mind is so much habitual. Even if you have the knowledge, the mind follows its habit. Anyhow, I did not make any accident. We make accident every day. Oh, I have understood meditation. No, it will not happen. Are you understanding by the example? The mind will follow the same habit. That is why I say we have to repeat it. 3 times and it happened. And one time in December I was in New Brunswick, and I had a very long old Lincoln car. So suddenly I put the brake, and that Lincoln car is so long, it is on the crossing, it has 360 degree movement at least 5 or 6 times. Thanks God nothing happened. It is going to happen. And that mistake means anger and agitation and the reaction and an instant, you get instant upset. Enough is enough. Now I divorce you. Divorce, then what happens? You are divorced from the peace. I'm using the word divorce for any conflict, any idea of resentment in our life. So don't take divorces for only one aspect. We have to understand this, and that understanding only comes by repeat listening. So what happens by repeat listening? You start observing that how my habitual mind takes over me and how I should get rid of it. That is important. So there comes the reflection. Oh, this is what the principles are saying. I'm the real self. You have a reflected awareness. And then comes the practice. You do the constant practice. Ultimately, all the 3 layers are progressively removed, and you are in that journey. But then you become a seeker. And I told you the seeker never fails. Seeker never fails. So we have taken the 2 verses of this text. Now we will take up the 3rd verse. What are those impurities of the mind? How to recognize them? Not only recognize in this session, because you are not allowed to speak in a session. Hardly you have to share your experiences, 5 to 10 minutes. But we think and speak and act in our daily personal, professional and social life. There we have to recognize these impurities. Should not take over us. That we will talk. That we will talk in our next lesson. Close your eyes, being comfortable. So eyes are closed and you are comfortable. Again, understand, being comfortable is a way to pacify the impurities in the very beginning. You have to understand in a different way. If you want to follow the entire journey of the Eastern wisdom, So find out the most comfortable position of the body. 1. Most comfortable position, and eyes are closed. Then you go slowly, you raise your awareness of the body. How we raise our awareness of the body? You move the mind on the neck joint, you feel the sensation, comfort and steadiness. You experience that sensation, comfort and steadiness. One more thing, I'm adding to the principle of being comfortable is the right state. Becoming comfortable, you cannot become comfortable. It is not a becoming process. And if you enter into being comfortable, that is the first sign of knowing the real self. The real self is attained by doing nothing. Move the mind on the shoulder joints. Be there, feel the sensation, comfort and steadiness. Move the mind on the hip joint. Be there, feel the sensation, comfort and steadiness. In this weekly journey that follow, you have to be mindful and observe clearly that I guide you being comfortable in at least 15 to 20 different ways, out of which even if you pick up the 5 or 6 ways, you are going to be a seeker. In order to do that, you need a contemplation and reflection and repeat the listening and learning. I'm opening up all my secrets. There is no secret of mine. So being now entire in body from the top of the head to the toes, being comfortable, sensation, comfort and steadiness. In that state, my friends, be carefree. So I started using another metaphor, one metaphor that I have been using. You have to contemplate on the metaphor. How I can realize the principle. One metaphor I have been saying that you are standing across the road watching the traffic. The one who is watching the traffic and the second is the traffic. So I converted that metaphor into a different lane 1 of the mind, lane 2 of the mind, lane 3 of the mind. We have 3 lanes in the highways. Where is the lane 1? Unwanted, unwelcome thoughts. It's the traffic. Lane 2 is the intellect, is an observer, knower. So the way you are standing across a road is different from the traffic the same way. Same mind, in the same mind. You have lane 1 and you have a lane 2. You recognize it. That is the meaning. The thoughts are coming and going. I am a witness. Means what? You do not subjectify any thought. What do you mean? Thoughts are objects. The moment I see you as an object, I don't objectify you. I don't subjectify you. We subjectify all these thoughts, and then these thoughts become me, and that creates an ignorance. What happens when I am an observer watching these thoughts are coming and going? Lane 1, I am in the lane 2. The moment you have separated, you find you are in lane 3. What is the lane 3? It is the state of the calmness. How can you claim you are in stress unless you have a thought of the stress? Unless you subjectify it. So there what we find, our masters have found out that can we replace these unwanted, unwelcome thoughts by repetition consciously? Yes. Sarve bhavantu sukhina. You may say in your mind, Whether you like it or not, say it, repeat it, so that you can get rid of the unwanted thoughts. Sarve bhavantu sukhina. Sarve bhavantu sukhina. Then we contemplate. But first we know the meaning, let everyone be happy. What it means, let everyone be happy. Do you have a power to make everyone happy? If you think in that way, the false I is taking root in you. No, but I say that let everyone be happy. It is because the happiness is our essential nature. It is one common factor present in all the living beings. Oh, it is present everywhere in the same quantity, in the same quality? Yes. What happens to your false I? The false I breaks its barriers of likes and dislikes. That is why we have to do the mantra. Sarve santu niramaya. Sarve santu niramaya. Sarve santu niramaya. Let everyone be in the state of the well-being. Same thing, same approach we have to reason. Don't keep your reasoning and follow the belief. No. Reflect on it. Find out the reason. From the ant to the elephant, I have repeated hundreds of times, from the tiger to any creature in the world, we all are seeking the state of the well-being. That urge comes from the pure consciousness, and that pure consciousness is the real self. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu. Let everyone be blessed. Let the blessing and the grace of the entire existence should fall upon each and every living species on the earth. Why? We are of the nature of existence. What is this existence? It is pure consciousness. What is pure consciousness? It is the real self. The way, if you are learning, so simple. It's not a question of belief. The way you follow the rules of the road by learning from the book, you cannot change those rules. Similarly, you cannot change these rules. Normally what we say in a spirituality, we say, no, why should I believe it? Don't believe that it's a right-hand driving in US and then see what happens to you. We don't use the common sense. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu ma kaschid dukha bhag bhave. Ma kaschid dukha bhag bhave. Let none suffer from any misery in this world. No misery, no suffering. That suffering belongs to the ignorance, because I don't know, I'm not worthy of suffering. That is our journey. So we have replaced the unwanted, unwelcome thoughts. So how long you have to repeat the mantra? Unless your mind becomes light, you get rid of being fully busy. The reactions and anger and hesitation drops down. Until then we have to repeat it. But still the mind does not become pure by simply the mantra. I told you, 3 layers. Projection by the mantra. I added. Now another point I'm adding. Action. By action we have to purify the mind. So karma yoga, that is a part of this breathing. Look deep inside the forehead. Look deep inside the forehead in the space and start breathing. Quick and gentle breath into the rib cage. Keep on doing it. Continue. Your mind will resist. Do not endure that resistance, and you do it. Where is endurance? That you keep on doing it. You don't listen to the mind. No, but mind says, something will happen. Anything, everything that will happen will be right. And stop it. First thing, recognize the mind has a resistance, or recognize the changes. So if the mind says, I had to face the tough resistance, you have to endure it. This is like taking a bitter pill until the mind changes and it realizes that it is important to do it. Now in that state, start breathing deep, silent and slow. But understand what is deep, silent and slow. First, it is silent breath. You are not making any noise. Second, it is slow. Third, it is deep. So what it means by the deep? First, you inhale into the belly and that belly expands. You continue inhaling. Without break, it expands your rib cage and you reach to the neck bone. While exhaling, first you exhale from the belly and then from the rib cage. Continue. You should recognize, or you should be aware of this deep, silent, rhythmic breathing. Now see, we have created a state. We have created a state or a condition where we can take the mind deeper within. What is that state? Just making you aware. Be very clear about, because I put everything so logically. First, you are comfortable. Second, you are seemingly carefree. Another, there is a sensation, comfort and steadiness in the body. Mind is looking within. How can you say? Because it is looking within. How? You are doing already deep, silent and slow breathing. This is the state or a condition you have created. In that state, as you inhale, drop Shanto Hum 3 times on inhalation and 3 times on exhalation. What it means? You start inhaling, which is rhythmic, Shanto Hum, Shanto Hum, Shanto Hum. During exhalation, Shantoham, Shantoham, Shantoham. So the condition do not change, and you are dropping 3 Shantoham on every inhalation and every exhalation. So when it is deep silent, slow breathing, it will continue to maintain the comfort and steadiness in the body. It will also prevent the influx of unwanted thought, and there you are dropping Shantoham. Why? To move the mind within. No issue. You can also recognize the resistances the mind has while doing this step. So we recognize those resistance and we endure it. Means what? We return again to the same practice if mind is carried away by any thought, any feeling. That is the way to succeed in meditation. And now, every inhalation, you say Shantoham 2 times. So your mind finds more space, and then it continues to settle in that condition. In the background, it reduces the influx of the thoughts. Shantoham, mentally, not loudly, because if you are doing loudly, you are going to change the rate and the rhythm of the breath. Shantoham, Shantoham, which means I am the peace. During exhalation, only 2 times. So the mind finds more space. More space means more freedom. Mind always likes to enjoy the freedom. So we are putting the mind to recognize a sense of freedom in the practice. We'll talk about it later. I give the practice in a conversational style, not creating a fake instructions. That is also very important. So that your mind remains in touch with me. Conversational style, as if I'm not giving a practice, it's a conversation with you. Keep on, continue. 2 times. Shantoham, Shantoham. And now only one time, where the rate and the rhythm of the breath is still deep, silent, and slow. So you may start singing. Shantu hum, and you find the space before and the after with the same deep, silent, and slow breathing. So you can recognize the unwanted and unwelcome thoughts have minimized or there are no. Or even if there are, they are too far from your mind to disturb you. Why you feel they are too far? Your mind has dropped subjectifying them. No worries, we'll understand each and every word that I use here. Now do not think, remain as you are. You leave the deep silence, slow breath, allow the breath to return to its normal pattern. In the state of doing nothing, experience state, sensation, relaxation, stillness, calmness, quietness. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes, open the eyes inside the palms. Know your experiences, bring the hands down. We'll share our experiences. If you have any question related to today's session, you are most welcome. How are you, Sophie? Sometime you're...
Yes, my cat was meowing like crazy.
Oh,
But I didn't react.
you didn't react.
I
Yeah,
feel very calm. I like this practice a lot.
very good. So make it sure that not only you are not reacting to the cat, you should not react to anyone living in your house. How are you, John?
Hey, Girish, I'm fine.
I always support you. You see that?
Yes, thank you. And I'm always reacting to everyone who lives in my house.
Why you are exposing yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy not doing anything.
Not doing anything. That's really a good practice and good experience. Thank you. How are you, Meet?
That was so. There was so much joy in that.
Good.
I just was able to let go of some things I was hanging on to, and then joy just came from the shanti.
Good.
Shanti.
Very good. Very good. I appreciate that you're changing. How are you, Anne?
I feel very good. Yes, I had. There were lots of thoughts going on, but not
Disturbing.
not negative thoughts, really. Yeah, but I feel calm.
Feel calm. Wonderful. That's good. How are you, Casey?
Am well. I had, it's easy for me to come into a void, a thought. However, the work still is to be done. The mind still wants to push the body and
Yeah.
challenge the body.
Yes.
And the body, sometimes involuntary motions happen, and sometimes I'm aware of them, and other times the involuntary action happens and I'm not aware of it, but I feel the residual effect, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
So it's still a mind, and I in terms when I'm working on bodies, when I'm working with people, I'm working on bodies. We refer to this term of unwinding. That there's stuff that's just built up habitually in the body that you're completely not aware of. And I wonder if that's not some of what I'm feeling is the mind wants to push the body and the body responds, and so it's interesting to explore. I don't feel frustrated until toward the end of practice when I feel the distraction of the movements. So there's still work to be done.
Yeah, very important. 2 points have to be made. In one of the tradition of the Eastern wisdom, we say that the no, what it says, how we explain it. Mind is a subtle body, and we use the word gross. The physical body is a gross mind. That is how we use. So that is one way to see it. In other tradition, what the tradition we follow here, we say that physical body is the servant of the mind. So what does it mean by the servant? If the mind says nothing, body will not move. Body is totally inert. So from that perspective, it is the mind that causes any change or any movement in the body. So many past impressions are already there. It has entered into every cell of the body, which has an impulsive, instinctive, involuntary and voluntary reactions. The more we become aware of the mind with reference to the body, greater the progress. And that is why in all meditation we say, especially in practice meditation, we say You have to become totally still. Stillness of the body, we mean to say that we are reflecting on the mind, if the mind is acting on the body or not. I want to kill this guy. You see, the expression in the body is coming from the mind, but body doesn't want to kill anybody. It is the mind. It is the race. Or the guy, who told me, luckily he's your friend, so I don't want to tell you the name. I gave this girl 200%, and now she stopped talking to me. I said, it is obvious, it is natural. Why you gave 200%? Who told you to give 200%? It is because of my attachment. It is because of my, or whatever you say, attachment or sensuality, whatever you say. Now, we say simply it is attachment, but this attachment creates a vibrations in every cell of the body, and it remains present for many, many weeks and months. And then he was reacting, Now I say that, at least I gave her 200%. She should at least text me that I don't want to talk to you. I said, will you be happy with that text? I will send you the text. If you are happy with the text, no issue. And it took him almost 3 weeks to understand this. Now he is laughing, I was full. This is what the impurity is. We are going to learn this. Very good. That is all, my friends. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
He's going to
Namaste.
Namaste. He's going
Bye,
to join
everybody.
us.